Hello everybody, happy Friday. Danny Shay here with your Friday ramblings. And we got some rambling to do. Number one, I want to make a clarification. Mea culpa. I got my big sister's YouTube wrong. Well, she changed her name, so it's her fault. And I can say it's her fault because she's my big sister. And little brothers always pick on their big sisters. And I'm talking about Denise Knight Divination. She did my astrology. It was awesome. I'm still reading half of it. It's very, very detailed. Anyway, Denise Knight Divination. So, sorry sis, but what do you expect? I'm your punk little brother. So for those who don't know, Denise Knight and I, we both have a YouTube channel, and we found out that we were born on the same day, same year, 3 hours apart. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's get into it now that I did my mea culpas, and I won't have to do any more. Any bets? Okay. Let's talk about SpaceX. I saw my first Tesla truck. Ooh, ugly. But we're shooting off more and more rockets into space. And, you know, you look at all the pollution from ground level. What's the pollution doing in the upper atmospheres, in the stratosphere, and all that stuff? I don't think we know what we're doing. We're just like blind progress. So, blind enthusiasm is the card that I came to mind here. So I want to look at that, see what the galactics think of our communication skills. Do we really need satellites, Starlink, to sell communication? Do we really need that? So we'll look at that. Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen. Stormy Daniels ruled. I mean, it was so... we'll get into it later. Let's just look at SpaceX. Let's look at... This is going to be like a little spiritual, galactic spiritual. Let's first go spiritual. What does the Galactic Heritage deck have to say about our communication skills and where they're going? So we're in this 3D level right now, and many of us who are tapping in, raising their vibrations, going into 4D and then 5D, getting on real psychic and stuff, like getting on real psychic. Did I just say that? Getting on real psychic. Yeah, boy, howdy. All right. And there's going to be a time when we're just doing telepathy. There's going to be a time. When I was a kid, I thought I could do it. I'm like, I can do this. And I think I was doing it. However, the recipient wasn't. Did you get that message? No? Okay. I had a lot of sophomoric jokes in there when I squinched my face like that. Did you get my message? But I'm not going to say them. I'll leave it to your imagination. Shame on you. Wow, some of you all have really good imaginations. Okay, what does the galactic energy feel about our communication now, and then feel about where it's going to go in the near future? Just 3 cards. Where is it now? Okay. Well, it's already talking about in the future. Long-term goals. So we're just thinking about today. We're just thinking about, hey, let's just pick up the phone and call somebody right now. We're not thinking about the future. Blind enthusiasm. This is what I think about shooting all these rockets into space. We're not thinking of the big, we don't have long-term goals, number one. So when we shoot these rockets in space, I mean, the amount of pollution is insane. But it's not only the pollution like, we think of, being stuck behind a bus or, excuse me, a bus or something. It's polluting the upper atmospheres and the stratosphere and the whatever sphere. And so that's a different type of pollution that is probably gonna bite us in the butt. Again, why? Because we have short-term goals. We have blind enthusiasm, blind progress. Let's just build, baby, build. And you know where that came from. And what they're saying is spiritual technology. Okay, spiritual technology. This is Vega present. So in the Vegans' history, they were really good mystics. And they were using spiritual technology. And they would grab crystals. They would grab crystals. Ooh, Dara. And they started relying too much on the crystals versus their own power, like telepathy. What? I just said it. No, I can't say it. Anyway. Telepathy. I had to say it a couple of times. I do like this system because I can hit pause. So anyway, the spiritual technology, they forgot their mysticism and they relied on crystals. And they were using crystals and sage and all this stuff versus their own power. So it's like we need to depend on our own inner power and not so much the crystalline system of cell phones. Okay, so what do they think? So and where are we going? Let's just see where we're going with that. So that was here we are. A little choppy, wasn't it? A little choppy there. Where are we going with our technology in the future? What do we have to look forward to? Maybe in future lives, but assistance without interference. Wow. Oh. Okay. I'm not going to look up the meaning of these cards, so you may need to pull your own. We get assistance without interference. That's in the future. Forgiveness and gratitude. But I'm looking at the cetacean. I'm looking at the dolphin and how they communicate with a series of clicks and sounds, and it's more of a vibration. It's a higher level of communication, sonar as well. And then it's the force of attraction, Orion Light. This is one of the last cards here. And it's all about the communication between heart spaces. So now we're using the phone and all this stuff for mean tweets and to create chaos. And the communication in the future is all going to be all about creating harmony and attraction of like versus like. And then it goes into this forgiveness and gratitude. So we're going to have to forgive, and then we're going to be grateful for what we have as we click and clack our way through the future communication. Okay, let's dig into some politics. Let's look at Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen. She seemed to rule. She seemed to rule the defense. She made some slips when the prosecution called her talking too much, this and that. Even the judge had to reel her in. But in the defense came out and said in opening statements that Trump never had sex with that woman. And yet, all they talked about is Trump having sex with that woman. So how did the jury look at Stormy Daniels? Believe her? Was it like, wow? How did they look at Stormy Daniels as far as what the case has to say? Well, got the Empress card. Good thing she didn't get pregnant. Yikes. Okay, first card we got is Temperance. She brought balance, new information with the Queen of Wands, and she brought abundance, fertility for the case. She brought a calmness. She kind of painted a picture of the whole thing. She added a lot to this. They're going to go, there's going to be something new that came out of her testimony. That's what I'm seeing with that Empress card. Something new from what she said is going to come up. And I think it's going to be for the prosecution. It's not going to be for the defense. Michael Cohen, how are you doing? Michael Cohen. How you doing, Michael Cohen? How are you going to be on the stand? He's a little more problematic, maybe. Maybe. I think the defense is going to have more fun with him. I think Stormy Daniels is cooler than he is. Then again, Stormy Daniels didn't have to go to jail. Michael Cohen did. Then again, Michael Cohen didn't have to have sex. So, sex or jail, which would you pick? Well, I know which one I'd pick. No, I don't. No, I don't. I can't go to jail. I can't. Oh my God, can you imagine me in jail with this hair? Oh my God. All right. Ooh, Michael Cohen, how you going to be? How you going to be? Michael Cohen. All right, that card. Ooh. Five of Swords. Winning at any cost. But there's a yeah. All right. But, so, winning at any cost. This is the defense. They're going to go after him. But there's a celebration, and he's going to come out as a winner. Six of Wands. The problem as I see it, and I'm not a lawyer. I played one on TV. No. But the way that I see this is that the defense attorneys are just trying to appease Trump. And Trump is going, say this, question that, do that. And that's the wrong strategy, but they have to do it. So, next thing I have on my list is MTG. So she tried to get rid of Mike Johnson. He's staying. 163 Dems, 169 Republicans all voted to keep him in. So Marjorie Taylor Greene says Mike Johnson is now owned by the Democrats. Well, what about the 169 Republicans? And more Republicans are getting some cojones, little ones, poquito cojones. For example, Paul Ryan says, I'm not voting for Biden, but I'm not voting for Trump. It's probably going to be a Republican write-in. Cassidy Hutchinson said, I can't do it. Character counts. Lieutenant Governor Duncan said, he's a Republican from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene state. I think he's from Georgia. He's going, I'm voting for Biden. So the polls all say one thing, and it's goofy. You got to really dig into who's talking in the polls. So I wouldn't pay him a lot of mind. Steve Judd Astrology had a very interesting podcast about the national conventions, when they're happening. He says he doesn't think Trump or Biden is going to be there. I go, whoa. So my wife was saying, if Trump isn't in the race, will Biden leave? Will Biden stay in the race? Or will he back off and say, let somebody else take it? Interesting question. Not for today. That's because that's serious. That's rambling. We're just rambling. Let's look at, getting back to the Mike Johnson thing. I always thought that Mike Johnson was not going to be speaker. And a lot of readers are saying that. But now he's in there, but I don't think for very long. So anyway, MTG's just going down. The Fox News and Wall Street Journal, all Rupert Murdoch's, I think the New York Post, all his media conglomerate, they're kind of like hands off. They're like, stay away. So I think she's done. I was going to read on Canon. I never thought she was going to stay this long. Libby over at Meister Tarot had a great reading on her. And I agreed with everything. I'm going, yeah. Every time she'd flip a card. Yeah. So I was shaking my head a lot. Like one of those little dogs in the back of the cars. So I think she's going, and Libby had an interesting twist on it. So go watch her, check her out. What else we got? Barron Trump turned 18, and I was going to be hands off it. No, I'm not touching him. If he's not in politics, I'm not going to get in there. He's going to the Republican National Convention. Yikes. I looked at a picture of him and I went, dang, is that just a weird picture of him, or does he have like really cold eyes? So I'm not going to read on him now, but I just want to, I don't know. No. Anyway, let's take a look at, I got in trouble a lot for this last time when I read on him. I lost about, I think, 10 subscribers. So let's see how many subscribers I can lose this time. I'm going to read on RFK Jr. A lot of people like him. At least 10 subscribers that I had, they liked him. They didn't like what I said. So it came out that he wants to debate Trump because Trump is saying that RFK Jr. is really not an anti-vaxxer, which I'm like, Trump, you just said that you're for all these vaccines, and now you're saying you're an anti-vaxxer. I think he's got the Christine Naomi, I can't pronounce her name, disease. You see her on the news channels? Oh my God. Somebody asks her a question and she doesn't even pretend to answer it. How do people, I don't know why we put up with it. Anyway. RFK Jr. So he said he had a brain worm. Or some doctor said he had a brain worm. Really? Brain worm? And he wants to debate Trump. How's he doing? How is RFK Jr. doing for, is he going to stick with, oh, my cards don't like shuffling on this topic. Is he going to stick with his run for the presidency, or is he going to drop out? Speaking of dropouts, maybe we should look at Nikki Haley. RFK Jr. You going to stick with this, or are you going to drop out? Oh, yeah. I don't know. So far, he's going to stick with it. He's got some sadness. He's got... Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's going to stick with it. Except for that card, and that card, and that card. Let me drop this down so you can laugh or cry with me, whatever. Let me show you what I got. Oh my gosh, this is kind of funny the way I read this. Page of Pentacles. So he's hanging in there. He's balancing. He's got one foot on the center. He's hanging on to some money. He's got the Ace of Pentacles, new influx of money coming in. I think that's his running mate. At the base of the reading, what he's marinating in is a little sadness, is the Five of Cups, a little bit of emotional loss. In the past, he had the Empress. He has some good ideas. He has some... He does have some good ideas for the world that he could want to maybe share. This is him and his running mate. It's all good. And then final outcome, potential near future, I should say, is the Hierophant, the higher order of thing, a government position. Yeah, it all looks good. This is the only sad card, and he, that's maybe his worm in his brain. Internally, he's using other people to help him build something. Externally, he's riding away. He's in his chariot. He's going. Hopes and fears. He has the Nine of Swords. Worried at night. Worried. About what? Walking away from sorrow. So he may not leave, but he's worried about walking away because he's got the Ten of Swords sticking him in. Maybe it's planting him in the ground. Maybe it's just really sticking him in there. But it looks like in this deck that things are flying away. The burden, it's just too much. Ooh, Moon card. He's underwater. And there's some secrets that are going to be coming out. Some more secrets that are going to be coming out with him. So, whether he just may want to leave. Is that the right? Did I say that right? He may be thinking about leaving, or maybe that's the best thing for him to do, but he's worried he doesn't want to. So he's going to try to stick it out, but he's a little bit underwater. All right, let's look at Nikki Haley and then we'll be done, because I don't know where my list went anymore. Nikki Haley. Is she just hanging in there? She's still getting votes from all the primaries. She's not on the ballot, or she is on the ballot, but she has suspended her campaign. I don't know if Chris Christie's getting any votes, but Haley is in between 10 and 20%. Like, really? Christie? Haley. Is that what? Haley. So, my wife thinks that she's just sticking around, waiting for Trump to implode. Ooh. Why did I say that? Eee. Eee. He's still in the box. For those who have been with me for a while, you know what I mean by he's still in the box. I think I'm going to pull him out when this trial wraps up. Let him know what the verdict is. Okay. Okay. Nikki Haley. Are you going to be a name we're going to be talking about in the National Republican Convention? Are you going to be a name that is being mentioned in the Republican National Convention? Going back to the past, the challenge is the Two of Swords, making a tough decision, not knowing which way to go. Wow, she's got good cards. Temperance. She's playing it right. Ooh. Potential near future is the Joe Biden card. Let's just keep going. Oh. Let me drop this down. This is interesting, what I'm getting with this. Going back to a simpler time, somebody needs to make, and it's being challenged by the tough decision that isn't easy to make. That what do we do? You know, do we go with Trump? Do we go with somebody new? And if Trump is gone, who do we go with? Do we go with Nikki Haley? Do we go with one of these other knuckleheads? Nikki Haley has the 10 of Cups. She's like, yeah, and this is like my Democratic card, so it's kind of weird. In the past, bringing balance, but in the top of the reading that's marinating everything is the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth, but this is all intuitive in this deck. So she came up with this brilliant idea, and she's playing this all right. And maybe that's her just going, I'm just biding my time, just waiting for things to change. She's going to be the knight in shining armor. It could also be the false knight, because in the external position, she has loss. Maybe it's money that she doesn't quite have. Her hopes and fears, the Emperor card, that she's going to win, and she's starting a new journey. So I would say yes. She's getting Knight of Swords, getting on that and running. Knight of Wands, bringing in a new message. Yeah, I think we need to keep an eye on her. I think her name is going to be floated around in the RNC. Is she going to be the presidential nominee? If I had to guess from these cards, yeah, against Biden, because Joe Biden's card came up. I don't know. We live in crazy, crazy times. And, you know, if you watch Steve Judd's podcast on the state of the conventions, he goes, it's going to be crazy. So for those of you who are watching here, take a deep breath. Don't pay attention to it. It's going to be crazy. The Republicans are not winning. Not winning this round. Now, in 4 years, maybe in 2 years, when we're doing this again, we'll look at it later. But in this round, it feels all Democratic because Congress can't get their crap together. I mean, they can't do anything. This is the least productive Congress in the history. People are just tired of it. So I think, and then you throw in women's rights. Oh my gosh, it's going to be Democratic. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Peace and love.